In the serene stillness of Jetavana, the Buddha rested, surrounded by his disciples under the shade of ancient trees. Among them, Ananda sat, his expression a mirror of unease, his heart heavy with an unspoken longing. The Buddha observed him with kindness, perceiving the turmoil within without a single word being spoken. "Ananda," the Buddha began, his voice gentle like the soft flow of a forest stream. "Why does your heart waver today?" Ananda hesitated, his gaze dropping to the ground, tracing patterns in the dirt as he searched for words. "Blessed One," Ananda finally spoke, his voice tinged with vulnerability. "Why do I always feel like something is missing? Like fulfillment eludes me?" The Buddha smiled faintly, his eyes reflecting the deep understanding of one who sees beyond the surface. "Ananda," he said, "let me share with you a story of a merchant named Sarvan and his endless yearning." The Buddha appeared, serene yet vibrant. His presence radiated warmth, like sunlight melting frost. He sat silently before me. His gaze met mine, compassionate yet penetrating. "Why do you fear that happiness will elude you forever?" he asked. I hesitated, gathering my thoughts. I have sought happiness tirelessly, but my efforts lead to fleeting satisfaction and persistent despair. The Buddha picked up a small stone from the ground, holding it gently. Ananda, unable to contain his curiosity, leaned forward and asked, "What did the monk say?" "Blessed One?" the monk replied. The Buddha said, his voice carrying the wisdom of ages, "I am content because I desire nothing more than what this moment offers." The disciples sat in silence, the forest echoing with the profound truth of the monk's words. "Let us examine the nature of your suffering," he said calmly. "Do you believe happiness is found through external pursuits? Are achievements the path to peace?" he inquired. His tone was firm. I lowered my gaze, reluctant to answer. I thought accomplishments and recognition would bring fulfillment, but they have left me hollow. The Buddha nodded, understanding my turmoil. The mind, untrained, craves attachment. It becomes entangled in desires that are impermanent. He gestured to the flowing stream nearby. "See how the water moves effortlessly. It does not cling to its surroundings." The stream sparkled under the light, weaving its own path. Cultivating inner peace is similar to understanding the nature of flow. "Tell me," he continued, "what lies at the heart of your fear? Why does unhappiness overshadow your existence?" I swallowed my anxiety and admitted, "I am afraid of inadequacy, of failing to find a purpose or meaning in life." The Buddha leaned forward slightly, his posture attentive. "Inadequacy stems from comparison, but the truth lies within your being, not others. Imagine walking in the mountains, chasing distant peaks while ignoring the beauty of the path beneath your feet," he explained. "The mind that clings is like a vessel with a hole at its base. It can never hold contentment," the Buddha explained. "Even when filled, the water escapes, and no matter how much is added, it always feels empty." Ananda nodded slowly, his heart resonating with the metaphor, his thoughts a tapestry of realization. "Contentment," the Buddha continued, "is not about renouncing the world but about renouncing the yearning that binds the soul to suffering. To find contentment, one must see the futility of endless craving and the joy of embracing the present moment." Ananda felt a lightness within, as though the burden of his yearning had been lifted by the Buddha's words. The merchant Sarvan, the Buddha said, began to release his attachments, finding joy not in having, but in being. The disciples sat in silence, their minds like still ponds, reflecting the profound truths of the teaching they had just received. The Buddha smiled softly. "Shallow breaths mirror shallow focus. Begin by observing the rhythm of life within you," he advised. "Breathe deeply, and you will find clarity." The story of Sarvan lingered in their minds, a reminder of the illusion of longing and the joy of simplicity. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, the Buddha stood. "Remember," he said, "contentment is not found in the abundance of things, but in the abundance of presence." His voice, though soft, carried the weight of timeless truth, resonating like a bell echoing in the valleys of the mind. Ananda, his heart lighter and his mind clearer, bowed deeply to the Buddha, his gratitude immeasurable. The disciples followed, their gestures a chorus of respect and reverence. Their spirits uplifted, the Buddha turned and walked away, his silhouette merging with the golden light of the setting sun, a figure of boundless peace. The disciples remained, their hearts a symphony of realization, the forest a temple of wisdom and tranquility. And so, the teaching ended, but its essence lived on, a guiding star in the vast sky of existence. Another day, another journey into the depths of wisdom. The Buddha sat by the lotus pond in quiet reflection. His disciples gathered around him, their eyes filled with curiosity, seeking the nectar of his profound teachings. Among them was Kunda, a farmer whose brow was furrowed with worry, his soul heavy with unspoken burdens. Kunda knelt before the Buddha, his voice hesitant, carrying the weight of seasons of toil. "Blessed One," Kunda began, his words trembling, "my fields have yielded plentiful crops, yet my heart feels barren, gripped by fear of loss. Transform awareness into loving kindness toward yourself and others. Begin there. How can I extend kindness to others when I feel so empty within?" I asked, uncertain of my ability to heal. "Kindness begins as a ripple." "Kunda," the Buddha began, "observe this lotus. It flourishes not by chasing the sun, nor fearing the shadows of clouds." He gestured toward the sun setting. "The day, with its brightness, fades into dusk, but it continues as it is meant to. Your happiness is not fading forever. It will emerge as you learn to cultivate your mind." Undeterred by transience, he reassured. His presence evoked a sense of comfort I had never experienced before. "Kunda, let me tell you a story," the Buddha said, his voice carrying the weight of timeless truth. The disciples leaned closer, their breaths quiet, the world around them fading into the background of the Buddha's words. "There was once a potter named Sion, whose hands shaped the clay with care. Yet his heart was restless. Sion crafted beautiful pots, each unique, each a testament to his skill and dedication. Yet his joy was fleeting. He always feared," the Buddha continued, "that the pots would break, that his creations would not endure, that his efforts were in vain." Ananda's eyes mirrored Kunda's as he listened, both of them reflecting on their own fears, their own fragile pursuits. I felt a stillness I had never known. The Buddha rose, his movements fluid. "Continue practicing awareness, my friend. This path requires effort, yet it offers boundless serenity," he said. I bowed deeply, filled with gratitude for his presence and wisdom. "Thank you, Master, for teaching me to listen within," I whispered. He turned and began walking into the shadows of the trees. His teachings lingered in my heart. A spark of hope ignited. For the first time, I understood the necessity of cultivating inner peace. The journey inward became my path forward. Another day, the sun rose, painting the horizon with shades of gold. The world awakened with a gentle hum of life. "Kunda," he said, "strive not for abundance, but for harmony. Let your efforts be sincere, but your heart unbound by the fruits. The lotus does not bloom for eternity, yet its fleeting existence brings unmatched beauty to the world," the Buddha explained. "Likewise, your harvest, whether abundant or modest, holds the essence of life within its impermanence." Kunda felt a weight lift from his heart, his spirit unfurling like the petals of a lotus kissed by sunlight. The farmer who sows seeds with love and trust, accepting the unknown, finds peace beyond the reach of fear, the Buddha said. You carry a burden today, he observed with quiet clarity. I nodded, lowering my head. The lotus of contentment blooms in the heart that accepts life as it is. Without clinging or aversion, the Buddha continued. Kunda, his head bowed in gratitude, felt a new clarity within, a stillness that had eluded him amidst his worries. The Buddha gestured for me to sit beside him. Anger is a flame that consumes the one who holds it, he said. His words struck me, but I struggled to let go. How can I release it when the wound feels so deep? The Buddha picked up a clay pot from the ground, filled it with water, and handed it to me. Carry this. I held the pot carefully, its weight manageable at first. What does this mean, Master? I asked, confused. Walk with it until I ask you to return, he replied. His voice steady. Tell me how it feels. I began walking, the pot in my hands. The world around them began to stir. The sounds of the forest resuming their symphony. Life continuing its eternal rhythm. The lesson of the lotus, the story of the potter, lingered in the hearts of the disciples. A guiding star, the Buddha rose, his silhouette framed by the hues of twilight, a figure of infinite compassion and understanding. The disciples followed, their footsteps light, their minds enriched by the teaching, their journey toward contentment illuminated. Master, the longer I carried it, the heavier it became. He nodded, his expression calm. Another day, another night illuminated by the full moon. The Buddha gathered his disciples beneath the canopy of the forest. His presence radiated calm, and his gaze reflected the serenity of the moonlight touching the earth. The disciples sat in a semicircle, their hearts open, awaiting the wisdom that would soon unfold before them. The Buddha began speaking, his voice steady, carrying the timelessness of his teachings. Tonight, he said, let us reflect upon the light within each of us. Ananda asked, his curiosity ignited. Blessed One, what is this light? How can we see it when our hearts feel clouded by desires? The Buddha raised his hand toward the sky, his fingers pointing to the luminous moon hanging above them. The moon shines despite the passing clouds. It remains steadfast, its light undiminished by the shadows that try to obscure it. The disciples listened, their attention fixed on the Buddha, their minds stirring with thoughts they could not yet articulate. Each of you possesses a moon within, the Buddha said, his words flowing like water, clear and vital. It is a core of peace and acceptance, a light unaffected by the impermanence of life's circumstances. The disciples exchanged glances, the metaphor resonating deeply, planting seeds of understanding in the soil of their hearts. The Buddha turned to Mara, a disciple whose demeanor reflected a quiet struggle, his thoughts tangled with doubts. Mara, the Buddha said gently, what troubles your heart tonight? Mara hesitated, then replied, I fear that my efforts will never lead to lasting fulfillment. I feel as though I am chasing the wind. But the memory remains, I argued. The betrayal is like a scar that refuses to fade. Memories are imprints, not chains, he responded. You cannot erase them, but you can choose not to dwell on them. Kaya, though diligent, felt her heart burdened by the fear that the grass her flock grazed on was insufficient. One evening, the Buddha continued. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Kaya encountered an old wanderer sitting beneath a tree. The wanderer, unburdened by possessions, radiated a quiet joy, his presence intriguing Kaya. Kaya asked the wanderer, the Buddha said, how do you find peace when the world offers so little certainty? The disciples leaned in, their anticipation mirrored in their expressions, their thoughts stirred by the familiar questions. It is difficult, Master. The hurt feels ingrained, like roots in the earth. Kaya, perplexed, asked, but what if the pastures I choose for my flock are not enough for their survival? The Buddha paused, his silence emphasizing the gravity of the question. The disciples waiting for the wisdom to unfold. The wanderer smiled and said, the Buddha resumed. Each pasture is enough when you release your mind from the endless grasp of fear. I looked at the crumbled leaf again. Its fragments scattered on the ground. Must I forgive to let go? I asked hesitantly. Mara, he said, fear is like the clouds that seek to obscure the moon. It cannot erase the light within. The disciples sat in quiet reflection, the weight of the Buddha's words settling into their hearts like falling petals. The light within you is not diminished by life's storms, nor extinguished by the passing winds of uncertainty, the Buddha explained. Each breath is like rain that soothes the flame. Focus on the present, not the past. The shepherd Kaya, the Buddha continued, found peace not by seeking greener pastures, but by tending to the present moment. The disciples sat in silence, their hearts swelling with the profundity of the lesson, their spirits like fertile ground for the seeds of understanding. Replace anger with compassion, the Buddha added. See the one who wronged you as flawed, like you, but not unforgivable. His words stirred something within me. Compassion, I repeated, tasting the word. How do I cultivate it when my anger resists? Compassion grows through understanding, he replied. Ask yourself what suffering led them to act in a way that caused you pain. I pondered his question, recalling my friend's struggles. Mara rose, his gratitude flowing like the river, his burden lightened by the wisdom that now dwelled within him. The disciples sat in silence, their minds reflecting on the journey to the shore of contentment and acceptance. I opened my eyes, feeling lighter than before. The burden feels less now, Master. The story of the shepherd Kaya lingered in the hearts of the disciples, a guiding light on their paths to inner peace. The Buddha stood, his silhouette framed by the golden light of the moon, a figure of infinite compassion and understanding. Remember, it is a practice. Each day offers a choice to cling or to release, to suffer or to heal. The sun began to set, its light golden and forgiving. The forest seemed to hum with renewed life. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.